is Max James, and as always, I am one half of the Two-Ton Nerds, and tonight is day 3 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project. And this week's theme is Cabin in the Woods, and I wouldn't have this week's theme if it wasn't for this movie. It's the first Evil Dead, starring Bruce Campbell and directed by Sam Raimi. There's not much I want to say before I go into watching this movie. It's just that this movie is one of my personal favorites of all time, out and in of the horror genre. So I'm going to go watch the movie, and I'll be back in a few seconds. Hello. As you can see, the lighting has considerably changed since I last talked to you. Since I last talked to the camera. After watching Evil Dead last night, I fell asleep, and so I hurried up. I kind of got up early this morning to do this review. So that's why the lighting has changed, and I do apologize for that, because I like to do the review right after I watch the movie, with the movie fresh in my mind, but last night I just couldn't do it. So here I am, going to go through the movie right now. So last night's movie I watched was Evil Dead, and I kind of learned a new way to how I'm going to break down each movie, because after I watched Friday the 13th, it kind of gave me an idea on how I'm going to break down the movie. There's 6 categories I'm going to break this down into, and a 7th. This movie has a 7th, which some of them will have a 7th, but most will have 6. But the 6 to 7 things I will be talking about will be the plot, location, the characters, the special effects, the deaths, the ending, and this one has a special category, which I will, when I get to it, I'll announce. So, the plot of the movie, it's very, very, very simple. It's just a bunch of friends who go out in the cabin in the woods, and things start to happen for the worst. One of the women in the group, she ends up getting raped by the woods, which is a key moment in this movie, where she ends up getting raped by the woods, like I said, because it kind of sets the tone of the movie, because you don't know what's going to happen if someone's going to get molested by the woods. So it just kind of goes on from there, and the movie kind of picks up after that scene. It just kind of skyrockets in terms of just, oh my God, what's going to happen, but you don't know what's going to happen, kind of thing. Number 2 is the location, which it's the whole reason why I'm doing this week is Cabin in the Woods. But what makes this one better than the other ones is because they cannot leave their little area, which is just like Cabin in the Woods, the actual movie Cabin in the Woods, which I will get to on another day this week. But anyways, the location of this movie is Cabin in the Woods, and they cannot leave because the bridge, it curls up sometime in the middle of the night of the movie, and it's like, oh, they cannot leave, because it makes them have to stay at the cabin. It kind of confines them to the cabin. Number 3 is the characters. The characters are very, very simple to kind of break down. You got 2 couples and a third wheel. One couple is the lovey-dovey couple who love each other and will do anything to save them or do anything for them. Then you got the other couple who is the masculine one, and it's like, there's a scene in the movie like where it's lightning, and she's like, turn it off, and she's, oh, it's just a little bit of lightning, or it's kind of like that kind of couple. And then you got your third wheel, who is the artist of the group, and she is technically the bad guy of the movie, I think, even though there's more than one bad guy, but I think she's the lead one out of all of them. Lead Deadite, sorry. And then number 4 is special effects. Special effects in this movie are great. The makeup, it's mainly makeup. That's all it is. Makeup and a few camera tricks. That's exactly what it is. It's I can't really show you, but it's overall just great makeup and camera works. If next time you watch it, kind of pay attention to the makeup and camera work, how the camera moves. There's a lot of slow 360 shots and it works perfectly in this movie. And the blood and guts in this movie is very well, but not over the top, where it kind of takes away from the movie, but it fits very well. And number 5 is the deaths. The deaths in the movie are very, very gruesome. I don't want to reveal any of the deaths because for my love of the movie, I don't want to ruin this for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. But the deaths are very gruesome and very well crafted. You'll see if you don't know what I'm talking about. Which leads me into the next one is the ending. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I will talk about how it kind of comes about. The ending comes very abruptly because it's just like how the movie starts. It just starts like that and will end like that. You figure out what the weakness of the Deadites very, very just happens like that. It's like, oh, that's what's causing it. So Ash, who played by Bruce Campbell, he figures it out, and he's spending a good couple minutes trying to do it, and that kind of ends it right there. It doesn't. It's just not one of those like, oh, it's a foreshadowing kind of thing. No, it's just shows up, which is great because like it's like how are they gonna get out of this, and it just shows up. Oh, that's how it does it. So that's how I'm going to talk about the ending because I don't want to ruin it, but it's very well done, I do believe, and well revealing. But there's a seventh category. The seventh category is squirmish, or how it makes me squirm or cringe. And there's one scene in particular, and it's one scene that bugs me more than any other scene in the genre horror, or even out of the horror genre. It's the scene where one of the women who is possessed by the Deadite, and she's laying on the floor playing possum, and she had a pencil in her hand, so she's just laying there in arm's reach of a pencil, and one of her best friends goes up and checks up on her, ends up stabbing her in the ankle with the pencil into the Achilles tendon. Oh dear God, I cannot watch those scenes at all. It reminds me of Hostel, the scene where he like cuts the Achilles tendon, tells him to walk. If he can walk out of here, he survives. But the one Achilles tendon scene that really makes me squirmish is the scene from Pet Cemetery, where the little kid cuts the grandpa's Achilles tendon. That's the key. That's the one that kind of set the bar of all these scenes, I do believe. But there are not too many movies that make me squirmish, and that's the one scene that does it for me every single time. But overall, I highly recommend this movie, is because I don't have a rating system, because each movie is each movie is by itself, and I don't want to classify them. But I will say is I highly recommend this one for anybody in and out of the horror season. This is horror season, and so just please watch this movie at least once. If you don't like it, it's fine. But if you're a true horror fan, you've seen this movie you've seen this movie plenty of times, and so that's all I can say about this movie, is that you have to watch this movie at least once or just please watch it. That's all I'm trying to say. And as for all that said, with all that said, I am Max James. I am one half of the 2 Ton Nerds, and I'm gonna go geek out.